is a suite. I loved the paper, okay? And they have this beautiful Parisian Flourish embossing folder that we had talked about on Sunday. And they also have these beautiful champagne rhinestones, and I'm going to cover this up. Right now, they are on a really bad back order, okay? So the problem, and I'm going to tell you, because this is explainable and everyone should know this, a lot of our embellishments come from China. And with the coronavirus that's going on, all of the factories are severely behind, and you've probably heard that in the news. So this is why those are on a very bad back order. They will be back, but we are super behind in stock on that one. And then we also have this petal pink metallic edged ribbon. So I myself did not get the stamp sets, and it doesn't mean that they're not bad, but it was something that just, I have a lot of flower stamp sets, but I couldn't go without this paper and this folder. So this is what I'm going to showcase tonight. Okay. So what I want to tell you about this paper is it's gorgeous. And if you can see, hopefully on the reflection, is that this is specialty paper. And that means it's got foil markings on it. This one's the best one. I'm going to turn a little bit so you can see it. So it's got that silver or champagne looking embossing. Here's another piece. This paper is drop dead gorgeous. I'm on my second pack because I love it. And what I love is, even though I don't have the stamp set to go with it, I can showcase that beautiful product with just the paper. And paper is much more economical. And when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. So it's something that, this is what I prefer. So if I'm not kind of digging the suite, the paper is the best way to go. And boy, have I been having fun with it. So these are 2 sheets, okay? And there's a couple that don't have the embossing. This is one, but still cute. I'm going to show you a cute card with this side. And then here's a cute travel one. Okay, and we got the, you can cut those out. I'm going to hold this really still. Hopefully, oh, I'm too far. Okay, hang on. So it's got tiny little Eiffel Towers. Oh, this one is really pretty. So we've got the embossing on there. Nice subtle background. And then, of course, if you're really French, we've got definitely the Eiffel Tower. You can't get any more French than that. And then this side is really pretty. Now, you're wondering why I've cut them in this size. My tip, and this is my favorite way to use DSP, is when I have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, I like to cut my pieces 3 inches wide, 4 inches long. And the reason being is there's no waste. So I can get 4 strips of 3 across, and then I cut them 3 over. So I get, so we'll do it like this. In case you're not a math whiz, right? And that's okay if you're not. But you're gonna, so this would be a 12 across, and then I would get 3 rows down with no waste. The other reason why I like this size is, if you notice, our card stock, when you're cutting your cards, your card bases, they're going to be 8.5 by 11. So we've got 8.5 by 11. When you cut it down the middle this way, that's 4 1/4. That is a perfect masking size for this, because I usually like to have a mask of 1/4 inch all the way around. So that way I'm not wasting my cardstock either. So I get a nice mask around for 4 1/4 and 3 1/4. Okay. This paper is absolutely gorgeous. And I'm going to show you 2 examples that I had here. And I think I've posted these, but this is using that size. Isn't that, it's just pretty. So this one I did put a navy blue because I wanted just a pop of what I was getting on the back. So this is a navy blue circle behind that framelit. And then what I did with the happy birthday, I was using, so this is Night of Navy all the way around. But when I used Night of Navy on here, the greeting got lost a little bit because this is so dark. So I actually used Blueberry Bushel for my greeting, and it just made it pop just a little bit. Okay. And then here is the other example. Very clean, very easy to do. So just a little bit of embossing. And here is that layer that I was talking about. So here's my 3 by 4 piece of paper. And then my cardstock is going to be 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. So you get that nice little matting around the edge of it. Okay, so that's the first one with the paper. The other one that I wanted to show is there's a framelit set. So I want to show you this first before I show you the next card. So the next one was kind of a sweetheart card. It's actually going to be a wedding card, but I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you how we can emboss a heart with that folder. And this one, I'm going to tell you, I hate when I miss a framelit because this one has been around, I think, for 2 years. And the first time I went around, I'm like, Desiree, you don't need any more hearts. Right? It's just like, come on, we don't need any more flowers either, which is never true. But last month I got these. I am so smitten with these because I didn't realize how much versatility was in this one. So let me show you. So when I got them, look at all that metal. But what I didn't realize is when you cut them, so they come right inside each other. And I'm going to show you this piece, this inside heart piece. But if you can see on there, they both have stitching. So you can get stitching on your heart, but then this outside piece actually cuts what you see here. So it's a nice ruffly heart. So let me show you what that looks like translated on a card. I was shocked when you start cutting and you're like, what? So here we go. So this literally is just the edge piece. So I cut that out. So I did get, let me show you here, because I've been cutting hearts after Valentine's Day, wouldn't you know it? So this one, so that's what it looked like when I take it out. And then what I did was cut it out of red and then went for my flower. So this is, or my flourishing folder. So this is my prelude into what we're going to do with that folder. So very nice wedding card that I turned this into, but I also use that paper where it's just, you know, you dazzle it up a little bit. I put in some, hopefully you can see that. I got some pink glimmer ribbon and just a congratulations. So I've got some weddings coming up, so I thought I'd start getting after my cards. Beautiful. Okay, so now to what I'm going to call the main show. So Brenda was showing us about putting ink on our folders, right? How we can put, so remember, you're going to find your logo side and you open it and you're going to put ink all over this. Okay. So I wanted to use this because we had talked about this folder but never did anything with it. So first I'm going to start with what it looks like just by itself. So this is that folder straight on navy blue with no ink. Okay. When you add the ink, this is what happens. And hopefully, let me get this up. It is so rich looking. So this is no ink. This is going to be navy ink on navy cardstock. And I know the filming is not going to do it justice, but you really want to touch it because it looks like it's supposed to be velvety. Just, it's beautiful. Now I took that one step further, and then I took my navy ink and put it on blueberry bushel. So if you know our colors, blueberry bushel, yeah, it is going to be a brighter blue. And what it did was really made those images pop. So this is that blueberry bushel cardstock, sorry, and navy blue ink. Isn't it pretty? Look at the differences. And all I did, I used the same, so this is to our navy. This is with navy ink. This is with blueberry bushel cardstock with navy ink. So all navy ink. I wanted to show you the difference on that one because we're going to get crazy. So next I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I can put Versamark on a folder to see what happens. So those of you that know about Versamark, Versamark is a really cool medium that you can use. And we typically emboss with this. But when I first started stamping, I was taught that you could use this for any color ink. And what I mean by that is how we're doing kind of like on that cardstock where you can do navy ink on navy cardstock. Versamark is going to give you the same look, but you can use it on any colored cardstock. So what I mean by that, let me grab a stamp here and a dark piece of paper because it's easier to show you. When you stamp with Versamark, it's going to make like a watercolor image. Now, like I said, we do use this for embossing, but if you stamp with it and leave it, you can see that, and it'll dry. It will dry, but you get that tone-on-tone look. So if I would have done the same thing with navy blue ink, it would look just the same. It's that watermark. Okay. So what I did was I'm like, hey, I'm gonna put that on that folder and see what happens, because I was going for a tone-on-tone look with this print on it. What I found out is that it really didn't turn out. So when I put it on my folder, I could see a little bit, but it started fading quite fast. So of course I panicked, and I'm like, okay, that really didn't turn out. Now what do I do? So what I did was throw some embossing powder on it, on my stamped image after I did this. And the effect that I had was absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to show you what that looks like tonight. So again, I'm doing just like Brenda showed us on Sunday. I'm putting Versamark right on my folder. Now, what I like about doing this with smaller images is I can decide what I want on my heart. Okay, because I'm going to do this heart. So I'm going to hold this, and I can kind of put it on here. I'm going to put it so the flower is right in the middle. Okay. So let me run this through the Big Shot. I'm going to bring this up here for just a minute. Hang on. I know it's shaking. Hang on. Okay. Okay. So what I'm left with is, I mean, it's pretty, but it really doesn't do anything because the Versamark, if you noticed, really didn't change the color, right? So that's what I was looking for, was to get like a tone on tone. So what I did is came over here and put some embossing powder. Now, I started with silver, and I got a sample to show you that. It's going to be a wedding card. But this one I switched because I was using petal pink. I switched to copper. And the brown, I'm a sucker for brown and pink. I'm not going to lie. Okay. So I got done, and I'm like, oh, Desiree, that's a hot mess. What were you thinking? Right? So embossing is never pretty until we start working with the heat. So I'm going to go off screen here just a little bit, and I'm going to give it just a little bit of air. Okay. And what I did, I just wanted to get a little bit more. So now I'm going to take my paintbrush. I'm just going to, on some of these where I know, because I want it to still kind of be dirty and antique-y, but some of these where the hard line was there, I just like to clean those up a little bit. So if you have not embossed before, one thing I'm going to warn you about, oh, I'm going to get one more here, is the heating gun gets really super hot. So I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to hold it with my paintbrush. Hang tight here. So if you've never seen this, hopefully it comes through on the camera. And it's probably going to get a little loud. And yes, I've started paper. This is really concentrated heat. One of the major questions I get on this is, can I use my hair dryer? No, it doesn't work, because this embossing gun is very concentrated heat to a very short or a small base. And that's what's making this powder melt. But what I found is it turns our beautiful embossing folders into the most beautiful embossed, very rich looking metallic images. And you know, you've seen cards like this with these images on it. I'm going to turn it just a minute here. I couldn't believe when I got done how pretty it was. I just want to make sure I get all my powder melted. How many of you have started your paper on fire, getting too close or not moving it around, or at least smoke. Oh, the first time I did it scared the living daylights out of me. Okay, are you ready? Look at here. Isn't that cool? So the raised image of your paper is what's coming through, but you get a really pretty metallic looking heart. So I took this heart and I turned it into a card, of course. Aren't they pretty? I was just so shocked when I got done. I'm like, that is cool. So this one, we're bringing them together. So I've got my pretty paper. This time I didn't layer anything behind it because I wanted the heart to really stand out. But just because it's a heart, it doesn't need to be a Valentine. So this one is just an everyday card, right? And then I came and found our basket weave, and that's what I came up with. Now I want to show you the silver one because this is the one that really, this was my first try, okay? So this was my boo-boo. Are you ready? Look at here. So this I did in silver. Hopefully you can see the metallic on there. This was my first time. And when I got done, I'm like, whoa, okay, that is cool. So then I took black and I layered it with black. And I love doing wedding cards mixing white and vanilla. So if this is a vanilla background, I did my embossing. I'm going to hold it really still. I did that on vanilla paper. So that's silver embossing powder. And then white paper for my greeting. Cool? I had so much fun. So I had to take Brenda's and do something a little bit different because I thought it was an excellent technique. And what I love is folders are very, they're reasonable and you can do a lot with them. So don't necessarily think that you have to do a whole sheet. Do little pieces because they can be fun on their own, right?